What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the week of Hero or Zero on the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back again talking one comic book character. As we do every single week, we talk their good points and their bad points, and we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. I am joined as always by my perfectly healthy best man, Mr. Shaun Meighan. Shaun, how's it going?
I'm good, Conor. More importantly, how are you doing today?
I am currently suffering from, and I called it to you, Shaun, an old classic cold of just runny nose and coughing.
Just an old-fashioned feeling like shit today.
And I'll be honest with you, Shaun, I don't want to blame anybody, but I was hanging out with you on Sunday.
Right. Okay, now, okay. We were also hanging out with your wife, so it could be her fault. So.
No.
Really? Oh.
I thought to myself, I was like, I was healthy last week, and then what changed in the past week that could have maybe made me sick? And then all I came to the conclusion was I hung out with you on Sunday for a few hours, and now I've come to the conclusion that maybe you're, I don't know, just sick, riddled, and just infecting people.
Well, look, I did cough and spit on you a bunch. That's true. But I don't see how that's any of my fault.
But that's just what we always do.
That's our standard ritual of hangout, as we call it.
So I want to apologise. My voice, I sound like Phoebe from that episode of Friends. So we're just going to get through this week.
You're thinking things through at the minute.
I'm thinking things through, exactly. So we're going to just try and get through this. Now, originally I was going to do a big storyline episode for Hero Zero, but then I realised I hadn't covered a different character from the story, because you very cleverly, if people haven't noticed, Shaun, you did Secret Wars over 3 episodes. But in the run-up to it, you covered like 4 or 5 different characters.
Because the thing with a story is, if you have to explain every character along the way, it's going to take fucking forever.
Yeah, so I've decided now over the last few weeks I'm going to keep covering different people who pop up. So Black Mask was done as well. So now I'm going to be doing a character that is very well known for the first version of that character, but I'm going to be doing the second version because that was the one that was in comics at the time.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not doing Batman, you say?
I'm doing Batman. No, I'm not. Imagine I did Dick Grayson but just never talked about Nightwing.
So he was this little fuck called Robin. He flipped a lot. It was.
So Shaun, I mean, before everyone get into this, if this is somebody's first episode, you don't have to do anything. Just chill out. At all. If it's your second or above, we'd really appreciate 5 stars, a like, a follow, a share, whatever way you can support the show. That would really, really help us out. We hit the 150 5-star reviews over on Spotify, Shaun, before the summer solstice, if you remember.
We did.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone who rated us, who continues to rate us, in fact.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that discussion. Let's not worry about it.
Well, no, you see, Shaun, that's not the end, because we are currently doing every week on Hero Zero a segment that Shaun never remembers. And I don't know if you remember it this week, because for every 5 stars we get over 150, Shaun has to give us a fact for the summer solstice. So this is up until, I'll give you until the summer solstice, right? But to fuck with Shaun,
weeks away.
We shouldn't have hit it so fast.
How dare you all?
Shaun, I need a summer solstice fact for this week, because we got another extra 5-star reviews, a 5-star review over the week. Please.
Well, so, I mean, thank you to whoever gave us that 5-star review. That's tremendously appreciated. And if I can stall further by saying other words, I would really appreciate that. I don't think you could
stall any further, Shaun. Surely you have to get into it.
So the summer solstice, folks, takes place when, if you're a fan of astrology, the sun is in the Cancer position, the symbol of which being the crab. And now here's some crab facts.
Do you know what's so funny? Is if you did even the most minuscule amount of work during the week, you would know. If you looked at anything, you would know. And then could just maybe, I don't know, even 5 minutes before we start recording, Google summer solstice fact.
I'm not going to lie to the people. This is all off the top of my dome. But fun fact, I was born in the Cancer star sign.
I feel like that was fact number 2 when you said I was born during the summer solstice. You're kind of repeating yourself. That's a bit...
All right, how about this? And I don't know if I've said this before.
Okay.
in nature, most things evolve into crab eventually.
I think you did say that last week.
You know, crabs are older than the rings of Jupiter in terms of evolution.
I'll give you that one. Okay.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Join us next week. And also, if you haven't given us 5 stars on Spotify, please do. It ruined Sean's day.
Please do. And also, can you message me a solstice fact on Instagram? Because I will read that and respond to it.
So we're going to get into this week's report, Sean, and I'm going to be covering a character that's well known because of a man with 3 names, Jean-Paul Valley.
Oh,
now, Sean, I'm going to be covering Azrael, but I'm not going to be covering Jean-Paul's Azrael.
Interesting. I didn't know there was 2 different versions of Azrael.
Did you know that the Azrael that appears in the Arkham games is not Jean-Paul Valley? It's
what?
Yes.
That's
it's
fucking insane.
Michael Washington Lane, who took over the mantle around 2000.
Sorry. No, hang on. We went from Jean-Paul Valley to Michael Washington Lane.
Yeah, Valley Lane, you get it.
So he just got less elevation on either side of him, basically.
He did the Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the opposite way.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Jean-Paul Valley, obviously very famous Azrael in the 90s, and Sean, I would call him an edgelord. What would you describe Jean-Paul Valley as?
I would describe him as the coolest guy to ever exist, personally.
I assumed that you would, yes.
I see what you've walked me into.
Azrael is right up Sean's alley, and he's really into that shit. So, if you don't know, Azrael takes over the Batman mantle in the 90s when Batman's spine is broken. Then Azrael takes over Jean-Paul Valley Azrael, and then he goes mental, and then there's a whole thing where he starts fighting Robin. It's a whole thing, right? But big famous, I would say a character fan favourite of a character. But then in the early, I would say, mid 2000s, so like 2006, 2007, Grant Morrison comes along and he does the Grant Morrison thing where he takes a character.
Grant Morrison of Aztec fame, obviously.
Yeah, Grant Morrison, who is like probably one of the worst comic book writers of all time.
Never had a successful run at all, I would say.
Has he ever done anything in the industry? I don't think so. So, has there ever been somebody with a higher hit rate than Grant Morrison?
I don't think so. Denny Villeneuve, maybe, but
he's the only man that can put it up to Denny. So Grant Morrison comes along and Tony S. Daniel, and they decide that they're going to do a new Azrael. And there was one in between, but he went slightly mental. But Michael Washington Lane was the new Azrael. So, in a Golden Age story, I'm going to take you back, Sean, as a bit of a setup. Okay. Batman participates in an isolation chamber experiment, which involved him being trapped inside a chamber for long periods of time. The experiment was conducted by the insane Dr. Simon Hurt, who you may know from the Batman R.I.P. storyline that preceded some other stories in Batman and involved the Black Glove. It's a whole thing, right?
Right, okay.
Simon Hurt, not a nice man.
Dr. Hurt, terrible name for a doctor. Continue.
Dr. Hurt, yes. So during that time, Commissioner Gordon was not the commissioner. Commissioner Vane was actually in charge. And after Batman left the project, Commissioner Vane began to fear that Batman may not be around for a long time and began thinking of a way to replace Batman if something happened.
And this is Golden Age, this happened.
It's in a pre-crisis Golden Age story, yeah.
Wow.
Now, it's been kind of reworked as well to kind of like modernise it.
Now it fits, yeah.
Because Grant Morrison's a genius. But according to Dr. Hurt, the Batman's most likely motivation was for fighting crime, was a great tragedy in his life. So,
I mean, this guy doesn't know anything. What are we doing?
So they chose police recruits and then psychologically scared them in order to make them into Batman.
They did trauma on people.
They did, right? They also did, if you remember the Justice League episode Epilogue with Batman Beyond, they do something similar where they're going to kill like Terry McGinnis's parents to turn him. It's a whole thing. So many years ago then, Batman has a vision in which he encounters 3 Batmen who are figures of what Batman believes will happen if he ever like cheats on his war on crime or goes back and starts killing people.
Why am I Ben Affleck all of a sudden?
Iffy Ben Affleck's crime. So the first Batman is a marksman who uses a gun. The second is the Bane Batman who uses Bane's venom. And Hugo Strange's monster serum. And then, like, obviously, big monster Batman. And the third Batman is a man who sells his soul to Satan. Now, he does fight the Bane Batman version. But the third one, Damian Wayne tells him in a dream, is the most dangerous one. And the third one we're going to be covering is Michael Washington Lane, because he is the third one who sells his soul to Satan.
Okay. So this is the Batman that has made a deal with the devil to have superpowers to better fight crime in Gotham, is that right?
It's not as out there as you think. It's much more realistic, but the general theme is that this Batman, it's a metaphor.
I see. Sorry. I'm come from Marvel, where selling your soul to the devil just happens.
You're like Marvel, Mephisto. Oh no, there's an actual devil.
Yeah. No, there's a guy who will readily make that deal at any opportunity.
Yeah. So born in Gotham City to parents Mitchell and Barbara Lane, Michael Washington Lane graduated from East End High School. He received a football scholarship to Gotham University, where he played as a linebacker for the Nighthawks, until his scholarship was revoked because he beat his coach unconscious one time, which I feel like harsh.
Yeah, I think that happens every so often, you know.
You should at least get 3 or 4. 3 or 4 unconscious coaches before they at least take it away from you.
I would say half a dozen beatings. Then you can talk about.
And then you get a warning.
You get sin binned.
Enlisting in the Marine Corps, he served 2 tours of duty in the Iraq War before returning home as a beat cop in his old neighbourhood. He then married a woman called Shantae Coles, and they had a son named Henry Mitchell Lane. So everything's going well for old Michael.
And the story ends there, correct?
It does end there. There's no more crime, there's no more drama. He's fine.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
He sells his soul to Mephisto for no reason. But Shaun, tragedy then begins to strike Michael, and when it strikes, it kicks the fucking shit out of him and maybe beats him unconscious. Oh
no. Does he stub his toe? Does his car not start when he has an early meeting?
Do you remember that son that he had?
I do. Happy, healthy young...
Hit by a car, dead from that there now.
Straight dead, just killed by a car.
Straight dead. And his wife commits suicide after that.
To shreds, you say? I mean...
to shreds, you say. His older siblings, Marion and Gwendolyn Lane,
gather around him to support him?
They murder a dinner together. Murdered in ritual by a satanic cult.
All right. Well, so
to shreds, you say.
To shreds, you say. I love to shreds, you say. So you're saying that the guy whose siblings were murdered by a satanic cult is going to do a Satan deal?
Well, I mean, other than his wife and his child and all of his family, they're all dead, right? But other than that, he's fine. And for some reason, he has a mental breakdown after all that stuff.
A bit soft.
I say just be built different. Right?
Hey, fucking grow up, okay?
That happened to me last week. I'm walking away. I'm grand. I just have a cold.
All right, Craig.
Before a string of tragedies, Michael was selected for a joint military and GCPD experiment that was designed to create someone... Go on.
Why the fuck are the GCPD doing a joint experiment with the American military?
Because the idea of the experiment is to find someone to take over for Batman, should anything ever happen to him.
Okay, sorry, I thought... Okay, I was I retract my statement.
And this is where the stories converge, because they now morph the modern comics into the olden age comics, because now scientist Dr. Hurt, is working with the military and the GCPD to find and do experiments on the next Batman.
Okay, so they're trying to show a child the Mask of Zorro and then kill his parents.
Basically. And so Michael and 2 other police officers are chosen, and they improve their strength, their reflexes, but obviously lots of experimentation, super horrifying, Deadpool style. The effects of the experiment, combined with all of his personal tragedies after that, made him go completely insane. So now, Shaun, there are 3 bat people there that they have made all of the tragedies happen to in some ways, or they've just happened. So now you have Bat Cop and Bat Bane, which are the other 2, and he is going to be called Bat Ghost or Bat Devil. That's Michael Lane.
Oh, Bat Ghost is really cool. Bat Devil might be slightly cooler.
Yeah. So Bruce slowly begins to piece some things together. And what happens is Bat Devil or Michael attacks the GCPD building and kidnaps Batman and takes him down underground.
To Australia?
He takes him to Australia for a holiday. Punching him consistently in the airport.
They're going to see Uluru.
To shreds, you say. So Bruce wakes up and he slowly begins to piece things together. He's strapped to a chair now, and he finds himself under the Gotham PD in the same experiment room that he was brought into all those years ago. And Michael has brought him in there. And Batman deduces that the identity of the Bat Devil is Lane, or Michael Lane, a man whose family is said to have been killed by the Satanists. He is also a former police recruit trained and emotionally scarred in order to become a replacement Batman. So they emotionally scar him, but they do it too much.
The procedure was too successful.
Yeah, they absolutely ruined him. So Batman himself then actually starts to go through his own nightmares of that experiment, but he managed to escape by dislocating his own shoulder. Classic Batman move.
Classic. Betty pops it right back in after like it's nothing.
Of course. Batman proceeds to knock out Lane with a punch, but then he runs into Bane Batman. Gordon, meanwhile, shows up and they shoot Bane Batman in the head before he kills Batman.
Oh, just ices him.
Yeah, just straight up, right?
Turns out the antidote to venom is bullets.
Is a rocket launcher. So, however, Lane escapes. Batman gets up and begins thinking about his life and the direction it's taken. He fears that his years of training might not be enough to save him from the ultimate evil. So he then, this is also, by the way, a lead into Batman R.I.P., which is a major story, in which Batman does not come out too well because of the whole R.I.P. part.
Does he rip his jeans, perhaps?
He does rip his jeans while dying.
Seems one of those is worse than the other, honestly.
Michael Lane is actually seen in that storyline working with Dr. Hurt as they try to escape Arkham Asylum. Bruce Wayne shows up. Well, Batman shows up. He's also Bruce Wayne. No spoilers. But Batman shows up, jumps onto the helicopter, and the helicopter crashes into the water. And Shaun, you're going to like this. Apparently killing Michael Lane.
Well, that's the end of the report, of course, because there's no surviving that kind of thing.
But then, Shaun, what happens is they go a completely different direction. Because the Order of Purity, who are an order I haven't covered actually on Hero Zero, but they're Azrael, and it's like a religious cult, and it's a whole thing. Shaun would be super into it. The more he reads it, I genuinely he would read it for hours.
Weird death angels or something, is that what we're going
100%,
for?
Shaun,
Hell
of course. Yeah. The Order of Purity select Lane to be their new Azrael, after previous agent Abraham Arlington was driven insane by the mystical suit of sorrows within 6 weeks of putting it on.
There's a fucking suit of sorrows that they're wearing.
And Shaun, not only is there a suit of sorrows, Shaun, it drives you mad.
Hell yeah. Can I look up the suit of sorrows?
There's so many parts of this that I'm like, Sean's going to want to know everything about this. So, right.
Oh, hell yeah.
The suit of sorrows, Shaun, if you don't know, it's a medieval looking set of armour that can be adapted and to be made as modern body armour, right? It's a cursed mystical armour, and it affords several powers granting to whoever's wearing it. So you've got superhuman physical attributes, skills, and the memories of previous wearers as well.
Fuck yeah, you get a memory of a bunch of insane people while you wear it.
It's also highly durable, able to protect the bearer from rocket launchers. It's bulletproof. It can also, and Shaun, we'll touch on this later on, but it is then modified halfway through my report here to have the effects of the Lazarus pit to revive the wearer within 3 days of death, should they still have the armour on.
What the so as long as you wear it, but if you die in it, you become insane when you wake up?
You go slowly more and more insane, even if you don't die.
It's the legend surrounding insanities.
Exactly. The legend surrounding the Suit of Sorrows told the arrow being bestowed with the fighting spirit of all who had worn before it, as well as the rage of Azrael, the original angel of death. So the rage is also there, slowly seeping into you.
Hell yeah.
So over the years of wearing the costume, it will definitely take its toll mentally and physically. So it was said that only those of pure of heart were worthy of wearing the suit. But Shaun, human beings are by definition imperfect creatures. So there is nobody pure of heart that will not be infected or impacted by the suit.
Anyone who wears it will eventually be corrupted and succumb to rage and death and violence and everything.
Exactly. Slowly.
This is like a way cooler version of the Black Knight in Marvel, where it's a cursed sword and you become more insane the more you use it.
Oh no, there's cursed swords coming up, Shaun. Don't worry about that.
Connor said I would like this.
And not only is there a cursed sword, there's 2 cursed swords, Shaun.
And that's dual wielding.
And they do different things. Michael is chosen as the next Azrael, and he's given the Suit of Sorrows after the last guy was driven insane within 6 weeks of putting it on. And so Lane agrees to take on the mantle and is immediately forced to wear the suit after he gets attacked by the 7 men of death, so he throws it on quick and starts using it. He's then given 2 swords, Shaun. The Sword of Sin and the Sword of Salvation.
Oh, Shaun. Okay.
The Sword of Sin, if you get attacked by it, you see all of the bad things that you've done. It's also flames. There's always fire on it. Sword of Salvation, blue. Always pure blue, right?
And you see all the good things you've ever done if you're cut by it?
So, Sword of Sin, if you are not pure of heart, it can kill you, right?
It's the penance stare, but a sword.
Sword of Salvation can't kill you, but if you get struck by it, you not only remember all of the bad things that you've done, but the reasons why. So sin, you just see all the bad things.
Yeah.
And salvation, you see all of, you'll be absolved of all your sins, but simultaneously, you have to relive all of them.
You learn a lesson.
You learn lessons. It's salvation, Shaun.
God.
Yes.
Holy shit.
After he gets the suit, Talia Al Ghul actually shows up and he begins fighting her. And she reveals all the secret curse of the suit to him and everything, because he just accepts it. He doesn't understand what's going on at this point. And he then goes to the Batcave and he confronts Nightwing. During their fight, Nightwing stunned Lane and knocked him unconscious. Lane wakes up in his apartment and found the Suit of Sorrows with both swords attached to it, with a note hanging from the suit from Nightwing saying he's allowed to operate in Gotham, but Nightwing is going to keep an eye on him because he is Azrael and he's allowed to operate, but Nightwing's not going to accept it if he goes around just killing everyone and going insane.
That's a really... what's the word? That's a really diplomatic move on Nightwing's part. To be like, hey, you can do this, but I'm trusting you to just not kill everyone.
Well, the last Azrael, John Paul Valley, I mean, he only went crazy once. So
it's true. So, and John Paul Valley was in the same suit, right? It's the same Azrael.
Yeah, same suit. Yeah. So
interesting. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also this guy already mentally unstable.
True. What they've done, what the writers have cleverly created there, is a time bomb Just say, whenever we want, this guy can just go off the handle.
He can just go mental. So then what happens is actually McLaughlin gets his own like Azrael run. There's like 18 issues, 2009, 2010. He actually gets his own run of comic books. It's really cool. And it's an introduction to the new character. And this is actually why he is the Azrael in Arkham City. Because he was the Azrael in the comic books at that exact time.
I just always assumed it was John Paul Valley in Arkham City.
It is not. So his first team up involves a series of kidnappings by the villain Aemon of Lasaglia. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. An evil worshipping cult who intend to sacrifice children and release an 8 deadly sin. Batman suggests that they work together when Robin is kidnapped. Robin escapes and they fight back to back, taking down the group. And in the aftermath, Batman criticises Azrael for severing a man's hand and ignoring the kidnapped children. But Azrael tells Batman, no one can judge him but God.
That's a fucking, like, as a response, it stops Batman's argument, but also it stops most people's argument. Because what do you say to that?
Because a secret religious order has asked him to serve as God's sword of justice. So, I mean, he doesn't give a shit.
Of course he doesn't, because he has just the blank check of kill whoever you want and just say God.
And he's got two swords, one to make the guilty face their sins and the other to make them long for salvation.
Why would you not just do the sword that makes you face your sins instead of torturing people?
He just loves torturing people.
Just put down one sword.
There's also, during this run, there's loads of really cool stories. So there's one where one of his former buddies from the Marine Corps begins murdering people as a serial killer, and Lane is forced to put him down when none of his friends will take action. So like, he will just go out of his way to do that as well.
Right.
And he then begins to read the Book of Purity to learn about his predecessors, the previous Azraels, and he begins to believe that the Order of Purity will eventually kill him. The Order, however, suspect he is starting to go a bit mad. Because the suit also makes you insane in terms of like thinking everyone is out to get you. They are out to get him.
Yes.
They will kill him, but the suit is now starting to take effect as well.
So the suit isn't wrong, but like even if they weren't out to get him, he would be thinking that.
Exactly.
Right.
So Azrael then goes to London when a meta-human serial killer called Crusader begins killing Order of Purity members. Crusader beats Azrael and moves on to his next victim, while it's explained that he is after the real Shroud of Turin, Shaun, which scientifically disproves the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Because Azrael's storylines go real Christianity style.
That's a wild move for 2010 comics, I would think.
Yeah, it is. So they go like fully into like the Shroud of Turin, and he meets loads of priests, and he meets a man called Father Grieve in Scotland, who's the Order's keeper of secrets.
Love when that's assigned to someone.
It's Dan Browne, or what's it called?
Da Vinci Code.
The Da Vinci Code. It's just the Da Vinci Code. Right?
Actually, no, that makes total sense because the Da Vinci Code was just kicking off around this time.
No, I think the Da Vinci Code is like 04, 05.
I remember being in secondary school and hearing about the Da Vinci Code.
No, I'm telling you. That's the
when did it get
original Da Vinci Code.
When was the film? It was 2006. Fuck me.
What was it?
2006.
Told you.
So but then they might have seen this and then made a comic and then in development time.
I think the second one had come out. Remember, there's a second one?
Angels and Demons, of course.
Angels and Demons is what it's called, yeah. It's about snooker and people being sad.
It's Ronnie O'Sullivan and his most captivating
It's about Ronnie
role.
O'Sullivan and how sad he is. The Crusader is explained to be an agent of the Vatican dedicated to destroying evidence against the Catholic Church. So they go like fully like, this Crusader guy is out to destroy evidence of the Catholic Church, or destroying evidence against the Catholic Church, and now it's Azrael's job to stop him.
Right.
Azrael uses the Sword of Sin to show the Crusader that he is violating God's will. And Grieve tells Azrael that the suit of sorrows was designed for a descendant of Christ. And then, now the suit is designed for the descendant of Jesus Christ himself.
And this is a Batman comic.
Well, it's an offshoot of Batman.
All right. I mean...
At this point, though, Shaun, the suit of sorrows is taken away and repaired by a guy called Paratino, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, Paratino, secret benefactor of this suit repair, is Róisín Ghoul. And the modification amplifies the voices in Lane's head. So they're trying to now just drive him fully insane.
And if he becomes fully insane, he just becomes fully focused on sin and stuff like that, I guess.
Oh, you're about to see what happens when he goes fully insane.
Class.
So Róisín Ghoul has the suit modified so that it amplifies all the voices in his head. And also then the suit is a walking Lazarus pit, resurrecting him at any given time, because Raish is into that because he'll come back even crazier.
Yeah. So he's speed running crazy.
Yeah, so he finally snaps, going on a violent rampage. And the next morning, he's found dead at the Church of the Holy Redeemer, having committed suicide and then crucified himself. But Shaun...
That's class!
But Shaun, he doesn't know that the suit is a walking Lazarus pit. So 3 days afterwards, he is resurrected like Jesus fucking Christ himself.
That's fucking sick. That's the coolest thing in the world.
I knew you'd be super into it.
There's also, brief tangent, there's a book called Hyperion, and there's a character who is like a priest, but it's in the far future, and he gets this like parasite attached to him, and he tries to kill himself by crucifying himself, but the parasite keeps bringing him back to life, so he's just crucified forever, basically.
Yeah. And the thing about this is, right, he just, now that he has come back to life, he now starts to question everything about Jesus Christ, because he is technically now Jesus Christ.
He's done it. Like, he's been there, done that.
Yeah, he starts to question all of the teachings. And he came back 3 days later as well on the cross. So, like, the modifications to his suit have now also made him way more powerful of any warrior who has ever... He also now has all of the abilities of any warrior who has ever worn the suit as well. Yeah. And Batman keeps trying to enlist him in Batman Incorporated at this point, and he just keeps being, no, I'm not doing that.
He's like, you can have the Vatican. You can do whatever you want, man.
And then it comes a storyline where he fully goes mental. And he decides that judgment needs to come to Gotham City, because Gotham City, full of sin, if you remember, Shaun.
He's objectively not wrong, though, either. Like,
objectively not wrong. So Azrael arrives in Devil Square and announces that he and his angels of death will judge Gotham City and kill everyone who is full of sin.
Who are his angels?
He has a group of his angels of death, you know
just
how it
the
is.
Lads, you know?
And so Batman, Catwoman and Red Robin are asked to find one righteous man in Gotham or Crusader, and in Gotham, or else the entire city will be destroyed and start again.
One good person in the city.
They test the heroes, beginning with Red Robin, who is forced to run a gauntlet across the city so he can rescue the mayor. Despite this, he fails his test because he does not believe in God, and he breaks a window of a church to get to the mayor.
From Lane's perspective, that's a failing, is what I would say on that.
I cannot stress enough, Shaun, he's mental.
Fully mental.
So, like, it doesn't matter. You're not going to win. Catwoman is challenged next, and Sister Zero helps the angels. Although Catwoman fails her test when she refuses to sacrifice her own sister in the name of God.
The bitch. How dare she?
It's selfish, if you ask me. Their last test is against Batman, who is shown his own sins. Catwoman brings Jenny, who is Michael's brother's wife, who died. Right. So his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And the kids to reason with Michael. And they convince him to turn the swords on himself so he can see the truth. And Michael realises that his actions are not God's will once he sees all of his own actions with the sword. But
he never
instead...
thought... Sorry. If I had the sword that would show me all of the things I could learn, I'd give myself a little nick just to see.
Just to see.
Just to see what I could, I could be a better person,
Yeah. So he turns it upon himself and he realises that he's now just a pawn of Ra's al Ghul, who's been manipulating him this whole time to destroy Gotham.
Class. And what happened to Tim Drake and Catwoman in the meantime while they were...
they just fail. They're like, you failed. We're killing the whole city, so you're in the city. So on looks,
you stay in the city, and we'll fucking deal with you then.
Yeah, we'll just blow you up. And so they actually, instead of destroying Gotham, he flies away, and he's just like, I've been a pawn this whole time. And he goes to get Ra's al Ghul, and so that's like his major storyline of the judgment of Gotham City that he's brought in for.
That's class.
So there's loads of different possible futures as well with Michael Lane. It's an interesting thing. So in one future, the Suit of Sorrows eventually drives him completely insane 6 months later after he starts wearing it. And he then, go on.
Is this the... I might be stepping ahead here. Is this the weird, Bruce Wayne is a face on a robot future?
No, you're more thinking of I can't remember the exact storyline. That's not that one, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is Azrael in that one, right? An Azrael.
So you also have Damian Wayne. There's another story that in 10 to 15 years in the future, Damian Wayne is seen as as Batman.
Yes,
and he kills Michael, who throws him out a window. Because Damian Wayne is now Batman in that alternate universe. So Michael Lane is a devout Christian and a strict believer in the teachings of the Roman Catholic Church. Despite having a calm outward persona, he is shown to have had violent tendencies from a young age. In later life as a veteran, this translates into him being cool and serene in all combat situations. Although he does suffer from PTSD, of course. He is not immune to temptation or human weakness, as he has once had an affair with his brother's widow at the time. By his own admission, he has actually broken every one of the 10 commandments. So it's this really weird dichotomy of a character who has broken all 10 commandments, but he is the one casting judgment on everybody.
So he's coveted his neighbour's oxen, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying to you, yes.
Committed adultery, shall not steal, honour your father and mother, do not bear false witness against your neighbour, keep the Sabbath holy, do not kill.
He's definitely on that one.
Have no other gods, make no idols, and then, man, AI is terrible. They duplicated 4 of those. What are we fucking doing?
This is a completely different report. So in terms of powers and abilities, Shaun, he's got hand-to-hand combat. He's fucking the suit is ridiculous.
He knows everything that everyone who ever wore the suit knew. So
he's a better fighter than, I would say, 99.9% of everybody.
Than me?
Who's ever... none of you. No, you're obviously the best fighter I've ever met. So
Thank you very much. Appreciate you saying that.
Give him the 1-2 Uniflu, don't you?
You could do with that now, couldn't you?
Actually could. He's got martial arts, swordsmanship. He's got the Suit of Sorrows. It had durability, it had speed, it had stamina, it had strength. The weapons, he's got the Sword of Salvation and the Sword of Sin, which he's obviously expert with. And his other characteristics, and I like how in weaknesses to just have mental disorder.
That'll do it a lot of the time.
That'll do it. So after he just keeps resurrecting, by the way, after every time you kill him. So it's just, but he comes back crazier.
So is it better to kill him, or is it better to...
Well, if he stays alive, the suit will also drive him mental.
That's true. Which one drives him mental faster?
Well, I suppose killing him and then he comes back to life and he's still also wearing the suit is double mental.
That's true, he's double mental.
It's double oh no. That's 2 oh no's.
We probably should have tried to take the suit off him. We did have 3 days. Yeah,
because I love the storyline of he resurrects 3 days later just like Jesus Christ. Then he starts questioning everything.
Yeah. He's like, fuck, if it's this easy, I mean...
Yeah, I thought I was a soldier of Jesus Christ, but maybe I am Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and see, and is that him or is that the madness that's slipping in?
Exactly. So that is my report on I just love Azrael as a character. And I love when it gets really in depth. I knew you'd be super into like all the fucking Swords of Sin like it's all that good shit.
It's like Ghost Rider, Constantine, Batman, Ezio is what we're doing with him.
Basically, all combined together into some like mad shit.
Yeah, it's entirely fucked. And I knew Azrael existed. I never knew that version of him existed at all.
Oh, also the other Azrael is also just as cool. So I mean, we can cover Jean-Paul Valley. His storylines are probably even better. Michael Washington Lane has probably, I would say, like a more rad backstory once they get into like all of the Christianity stuff and like the order. But then Azrael also has the order as well. Like he has all the same stuff.
Yeah. But but when it's 2010s writing it versus 90s, which was just let's be edgy for the sake of it.
Yeah, they kind of added all later on.
Yeah, and leaning into whatever you say about Catholicism and whatever, has a fucking good aesthetic, doesn't it?
It's like it just looks cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's my report on Michael Washington Lane, otherwise known as Azrael.
What a report, Conor. Would you like me to take us out?
That Grant Morrison guy, he's going to get...
he's going places, I tell you.
He's going places, that guy. Eventually he's going to come up with a good one.
One of these days. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Hero or Zero. We will be back on Monday with the Heroes for Hire podcast, as well as the Heroes for Hire podcast presents Weird News. Big thank you to everyone over on Patreon, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. Link to that is in the description. If you want to check us out over there, you get extra movie reviews, you get invites to our hangouts and things like that. There is also the merch store, heroesforhire.ie/shop. Twitter is @HeroesForHirePod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire podcast. Blue Sky is Heroes for Hire podcast. And the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just a one, please.
And I think that's about it, Colin.
I think so. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun.
We shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.